What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. We're here again every Saturday. Underdog drafts, hitting some battle royales here for week 8 of the fantasy football season. Trying to get some cash, man. Trying to win some money. If you guys have never played over on Underdog Fantasy, make sure you sign up using code League FFB. They will give you up to $1,000 in bonus cash. You can potentially draft with us in the future, plus a whole bunch of other perks. Really, all you got to do, sign up code League FFB. When you do sign up or use the link in the description, that is the best way to play. Now, that being said, folks, like I said, we're here for that. Austin, first one in the chat. We got to answer the question before we get into it. He says, start one full PPR. Higgins if he plays, Jaden Reed or Brian Thomas Jr. And for me, it's going to be Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed's matchup is fantastic this week. I would be playing him, especially in a full PPR. So Jaden Reed is the play for me. Now, let's hop right into this draft. For those of you at home who have never played a Battle Royale, basically what this is a massive fantasy football tournament. There's up to $350,000 in prizes. Also, we're drafting 6-man teams. So just to give you an idea, this is off the main slate. It's a half PPR and 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, 1 tight end. Those are the roster sizes for you. If you do end up taking down the Battle Royale, winning this entire thing, we're looking at a total prize of $50,000. So we're going to be entering 4 of these drafts here on stream today. I'm going to enter this first one. Yes, you can take that money out of my account, but we're going to see what we get here for this first, I guess, team draft slot. We're going to be trying to target a bunch of different players today, but Austin also in the chat saying start Walker or Hunt. I would be going with Kenneth Walker. I love the Hunt's matchup as well. If you can try and get both of these guys in the lineup, I think they're both RB1s this week, but Kenneth Walker would be my play there. So as you can see, guys, we are just waiting on one more person. I have a list of players that I'm going to be trying to target just because I like their matchups. I think that they have boom potential against these certain matchups. Let's talk about some of those guys. At the quarterback position, the guys that I like this week are Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, Caleb Williams, CJ Stroud, and Tua Tagovailoa. At the running back, I like Breece Hall, Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker, Bijan Robinson, Devon Achane, J.K. Dobbins, Josh Jacobs, Kareem Hunt, Javonte Williams, James Conner, DeAndre Swift, and James Cook. And then at the wide receivers, Jamar Chase, Jaden Reed, Tyreek Hill, Drake London, Stephon Diggs, T. Higgins, DJ Moore, Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Zay Flowers, Jalen Waddle, and Tank Dell. And then lastly, at the tight end position, we got Brock Bowers, Tucker Kraft, David Njoku, Evan Engram, Kyle Pitts, and Dalton Kincaid. And you see, we're drafting to the number 1. So being the number 1 pick in this draft, can't really ask for anything more. For me, we're going to take one guy and one guy specifically. It's going to be Breece Hall. Breece Hall feels like the smash play for me this week. He is a guy that I think just has huge potential in this slate against New England. Like I said, I love their matchup, so we're going to queue him up. They're definitely riding the hot hand right now with Breece Hall in New York ever since they made that change at coordinator and at the head coaching position. So we're going to go with Breece Hall here once this draft opens up in about 10 seconds. And really, outside of this one where we're at the 101, we may not get many cracks at Breece Hall again today unless we're drafting very early, because I expect him to come off the board quick. And as always, folks, if this is your first time tapping into the stream, I see Austin's already doing it, but anybody else who is watching, just for the entertainment or for fantasy advice, that comment section is open, man. If you're subscribed to the channel, you can ask any questions that you want in the chat, and I'll answer any fantasy football questions that you have here today as well. So kind of a chill vibe this afternoon. We do this pretty much every Saturday where it's just draft some teams, talk some fantasy football, hang out. We're not trying to yap too much. I'm not trying to just fill empty space here. We're here to hang out and draft some teams, so hopefully you're here to hang out as well. Frankie, my guy, he says full PPR. Wicks versus the Jags or Troy Franklin versus the Panthers. I would go with Wicks versus the Jags. I trust Jordan Love and that offense a little bit more than I trust Bo Nix. So we had Jamar Chase, Saquon Barkley, and A.J. Brown come off the board as well. The wide receiver feels a little bit scarce at the top. I'm not going to lie. It feels like there's a ton of really good running backs. And you guys can see my rankings here. These rankings are best ball half PPR rankings, so it's not necessarily your lineup leagues or your redraft league type of rankings, but this is how I have them ranked. And a lot of the top guys in this type of format, this type of style, this type of scoring is the running back position for me. So I think it's very important to grab a couple of these running backs. I just feel like they're very high floor, high ceiling type of plays in this type of format. So we're going to be up with a double click here in a second. I think we'll try and grab Jayden Reed if he's available because I like that matchup so much. And I'll also probably try and grab my second as well. I think we'll go, if we're looking at the wide receiver, I just really like the matchup for Reed. I also like the matchup for Stephon Diggs, so I'll try and grab Stephon Diggs here as well, and that'll be our wide receiver room. And we're not going to draft any more wide receivers. I think we're going to go with one more running back in that flex spot because, as we mentioned, it's one QB, one running back, two wide receivers, one flex, and one tight end. So we'll try and grab the other running back and grab the quarterback and the tight end after. Para says trade Mahomes plus Brees or Kyron for Jaden Daniels, Pollard, and Neighbors. This is a redraft super flex. Wide receiver 1 now is Jefferson, and other quarterbacks are Anthony Richardson and Jameis Winston. I'm 2-5. Can't decide which RB to trade. Yeah, I mean, you need some quarterback play, and I think Jaden Daniels is definitely an upgrade. Brees or Kyron for Pollard and Neighbors. I think rest of season, I would rather have Brees Hall. So if you have to trade one of them, I would trade Kyron Williams, even though Kyron has been very good for you. And sneaky, if you trade him now, you still get to keep his points in your lineup this week, but you also get to plug in Jaden Daniels because he played on Thursday night. So I don't mind you making that trade. Definitely need the upgraded quarterback, and if I'm trading any of those running backs, I'm trading Kyron Williams. So we'll be looking for another running back here as we get back up on the clock. I think we'll try and grab, I'm just looking at it. Who on my list do I have that I love? I like Jacobs' matchup. I like Dobbins' matchup. I mean, I like Gibbs too, obviously, but and Javonte. I guess these are all guys that I like here. I guess we'll see what we can make happen. I might try and grab, we already have a Green Bay player. Gibbs would have been a good pick. I think Dobbins might be our selection if we can make that one happen. Javonte comes off the board, so we'll go Dobbins. Make him our pick. And then we're going to go to the quarterback position. And why don't we stack Jordan Love here with Jayden Reed? That would be nice. Paris says we would agree to it next week since Kyron played and Daniels might be out tomorrow also. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. The only thing is you just hope nobody gets hurt, right? Nobody gets hurt, and that messes up the deal. So, makes sense. Now we're looking at tight end for our last pick. I don't really want to grab Tucker Kraft because we already have the Green Bay. He's a guy that I think has a good matchup, though. Njoku, Ingram, Laporta, these would be guys that I'd be looking at. Potentially even Kyle Pitts, Otten, Kincaid, all of those guys. I mean, we'll see what we can do. I'm going to try and grab one of these three, though, and make it happen. Ingram makes the most sense to me if we can grab Evan Ingram. He says, appreciate the help, though, and that's also how I'm leaning. I'm glad we agree because I think Brees Hall is going to be really good the rest of the way. And he has a good playoff schedule. Frankie says, if you had to keep one rest of the season, who would you keep? BTJ or Devonta Smith? Might have to trade one away. If I'm trading one away, I'm going to trade away Devonta Smith. I think BTJ has shown that he can be the number one in that offense, and their defense is so bad that they have to keep passing the football. So if I have to keep one, it's going to be BTJ. All right, Njoku off the board. The good news is all of these people in front of us have already taken tight end. So we might get lucky here and grab Evan Ingram. Austin says, just in general, what is a better sign a guy could be on the rise? Is it high targets or high snap shares? I think it's a combination of both. I mean, you got to look at how they're being used, obviously. Like, are they out there on the field just running cardio, or are they out there getting targets? So, obviously, you have to look at both of them. But you got to look at the snap counts. You got to look at the targets. You got to look at all of that. It's kind of a mix of everything. But I'd be interested. What kind of what player are you looking at? Wondering who could be on the rise here. All right, so first one out of the way, folks. We are going to hop right into the next one. As always, if you want to draft these with us, there's a chance you can get in if you're over on Underdog Fantasy. If you click Battle Royale Week 8 main slate, I'm clicking enter right now. There's a chance you can get in with us. It's not guaranteed, but there's a chance you can get in. So I've entered that already. We're just waiting on that one to fill up. And once it fills up, we'll be in for our second draft of the afternoon. Looks like Cowboys are going to be activating Dalvin Cook in Week 8. That's interesting. I got the Dalvin Cook jersey to my left. You can't see it on camera, but Viking, man. Luke says, thoughts on Dolphins players this week? Fire them all up, man. Fire them all up. If Tua's back in the lineup, there's nothing else to be worried about, in my opinion. I don't think there's going to be a dip in production by any means from Tua. Tyreek's a play. Waddle's a play. Achane's a play. I think you can play all of them. Tua's a play. They're all going to be really good. And this is a good matchup against Arizona, who's been pretty weak against some of their opponents. So fire up all of those Dolphins if you can. In fact, we're probably drafting some of those Dolphins here today if we can get our hands on them. Okay, so we're at the 102. Look, we might go... let's see. We could go Saquon maybe. We could go Henry to start it off. Maybe we go Jamar. Probably these options here. Should I start Brian Thomas or Amari Cooper? That's a good question. I feel like for me, I would rather play Brian Thomas right now. We know what we're getting. Cooper should be fine too, but I think Brian Thomas is definitely the play. Man, I said I didn't think we'd have another shot at Breece Hall, but it looks like we might get another shot at Breece Hall right here. There goes Henry. I guess we'll take Saquon, man. Now, for those of you at home that are not familiar with what this really is, I try to diversify. I think putting the same lineup out there every single team that we draft is not necessarily the best strategy for cashing one of these lineups. I want to diversify them. So if you're wondering, hey, Breece Hall's your number one guy, why don't you just draft Breece Hall again? I probably could have, but I like to diversify, and we're probably not going to get a ton of chances at Saquon either. Austin says, no one in general, I was just wondering. Yeah, it makes sense, but yeah, it's a combination of both of them. Tyreek, Jamar. I'd like to get Amon-Ra if we can potentially get Amon-Ra here, but it's not going to happen. So I guess we'll go London. And what if we go Kenneth? Oh, I thought I was back-to-back again. I don't know what I was doing. Kenneth comes off the board. How about Achane? So now we're going to need to grab another wide receiver, and then obviously our quarterback and our tight end. In one of these drafts, we're going to go QB tight end early. Want to grab like Bowers Lamar. That's probably the best early stack to try and target. Not a stack, but early duo to get. All right, as we're approaching our next pick, honestly, if Jaden Reed is still available, I might try and grab him. I just think he's too good to pass up this week. Also, yeah, I mean, I can't pass him up. Do I start Chuba or Chase Brown? I would be starting Chuba this week over Chase Brown. So our next pick, we're going to try and go with the QB. If we can get Josh Allen, I'm going to go Josh Allen. If we can't, I think I'll go Jalen Hurts. Now this one we could go a whole different direction if we want. I think McBride is the best play. If not him, I don't mind targeting Kincaid in this matchup with Josh Allen as our quarterback, trying to go for the stack. League mate had Ayuk and Godwin, trying to get JT off of him for Scary Terry and Chuba. Fair trade. Probably would rather have the JT side, obviously. That said, if he's desperate, maybe he accepts it. I think you probably got to give a little bit better than Scary Terry and Chuba. Looks like we're going to get our choice at McBride or Kincaid. I think I'm going to go with McBride, though. I feel like so far we don't have a, these two teams have been pretty damn good. Not going to lie. Maybe everybody who drafts says that about their squads, but I feel like this roster is pretty damn good. But that is our second team. We're going to go into our third one just straight away. Rip that one. See what we can make happen. We probably, depending on where we're picking from, I might make this one our early quarterback tight end. It's just going to depend on where we're drafting from. If we're drafting towards the later half of the first round, 5-6 range, that's probably where I'll go. And I say later because there's only 6 teams in these guys. Paris says, since I'd have JJ and Neighbors, would me offering Richardson and Waddle be too much for a second QB upgrade like Geno or Love? Just worried about Richardson rest of season. It's not too much. Richardson and Waddle isn't too much. But I'd definitely be targeting Jordan Love over Geno. I think Jordan Love is a much better rest of season play than Geno Smith. Zuba says, hello, half PPR. I think we're waiting for the rest of the questions, so we'll see if that one comes in. We're just waiting on one more person here, by the way, before we go into the third one. And let's see where we're from. We're going to be drafting at the 101 again. Hey, whatever. We're going to go Breece Hall. I said I wanted to diversify, but we get Breece Hall again, man. And then I think maybe with our second and third round, that turn, we might go QB tight end, assuming none of them have been taken off the board yet. Also, maybe assuming we don't have some good players fall. It's just playing the board. Just playing the board. Paris says, yeah, I'd much rather have Love, but I don't know if they would trade him, so I wasn't sure if that's too much for a guy like Geno. It might be a little too much, but I am worried about Richardson rest of season 2. I have him in a league, and I'm not very confident playing him pretty much any week. Right now, I've been playing Kirk Cousins over him most weeks. Let's draft Breece there real quick. And then we got a long wait till we get to the next one. Nicholas, would you trade Tolbert or Christian Watson, or would you take Tolbert or Christian Watson rest of the season in PPR? This is a deep bench spot. I'd rather have Christian Watson. It's a better offense. I think he gets more red zone looks, big playability. The reality is most of these players that we're looking at in a deep bench spot, you're looking at guys that you can plug into your flex when you need them. I think Watson has more flex appeal and bigger boom weeks. So I'd probably go Christian Watson there. All right. We saw Derrick Henry come off the board there. Tyreek off the board. I want to try and get Tyreek or Waddle on a team as well. Maybe this one we can get Waddle. I made Waddle a start of the week for me. I like the matchup a lot. Lamar. So we already had the quarterback come off the board. So I don't know if we're going QB early because the QB early I wanted was Lamar Jackson. The tight end early I want is Brock Bowers. So probably not going to be doing that one. Chase, London, the wide receivers are coming off. I'd like Amon-Ra. I just don't think we're going to get Amon-Ra. Yeah, I mean, it just hasn't been working out that way. But what we can do here, we haven't taken him yet. So let's go with... I'm going to go with Gibbs. What about guys like Kirk or Stafford? Not trying to overpay, but at the same time, those guys feel safer for the most part. Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't have to give Richardson and Waddle to go get those guys, though. Those guys should be much cheaper, and they do feel a little bit safer. Stafford feels better now. Oh, shit. I realize I'm on the clock. Let's go. Oh, we just barely got that one in there. That was a little bit of a panic. My bad. Still came away with what we needed. That's fine. What was I saying? Kirk or Stafford. Yeah, I mean, they shouldn't be as expensive. Stafford feels better now that Puka and Cooper Kupp are in the lineup. Y'all see that fear that hit my body, though, when I was on the clock, saw 10 seconds? I didn't want to get autoed the running back. That would have killed the team because they couldn't have played him. Damn. I don't like that we have Brees and Diggs on the same teams because if one of them has a bad day, it pretty much kills two lineups. Let's go QB tight end earlier, and we'll go from there. Kyle, full PPR, wide receiver 2 and flex. Chubb, Dobbs, Shakir, McMillan. I'm going with Dobbs and Shakir. Paris says super flex though, so QBs are more valuable and guys can be a pain to trade with sometimes. Yeah, I get it. I assumed it was super flex the way that you were talking about trading those assets, but they still shouldn't be that expensive. A guy like Cousins shouldn't be super expensive. All right, we'll try and grab Tucker Kraft and Jalen Hurts if we can. I'm hoping we can. Damn. We'll grab Kraft and Caleb. Feels like this one might have slowed down a tiny bit. All right, now we just got to grab our last wide receiver. I think being able to grab a guy like, if I can get Higgins or DJ Moore or a guy like Jalen Waddle, I think those would be plays for me. DJ Moore might be nice with the Caleb stack. And then this next one, no matter what, because it's going to be our last one of the day, we got to just go the quarterback and the tight end early. I want a team with Lamar this week. There goes Wilson, Tua, and then we're here for our last one. Hopefully DJ Moore. This DJG guy, man, he's been slow the whole draft. All right, there's the third team, and coming up, the fourth team, the final one of the day. We'll hit that one really quickly, hop right in, and we're going quarterback and tight end early. So the plan is Lamar and then Brock Bowers, hopefully here with this. We're trying to get both of them if we can, hopefully. But who knows, man? Who knows what we can make happen? Got it pulled up on the screen. We are filled now. And yes, we're at the 6-7. That makes a lot of sense, man, to go QB tight end right there. Just assuming that these top 5 guys don't make that reach. For those of you watching right now, if you have not already, do me the favor, go hit that like button down below. It is free to hit that like button. It does help support the channel quite a bit, more than you guys actually know. So if you haven't already, and that like button has not been clicked, go hit that like button if you've enjoyed the content today, if you've enjoyed hanging out. Just hit that like button for me, man. It means a lot, so I appreciate you doing that. I don't know if this could have worked out better for trying to do the QB tight end. Brandon says, I got you. I appreciate you. Brees off the board with the 101. Austin says, done. Y'all are the GOATs, man. Y'all the GOATs, for real. We got the running backs coming off the board. Chase, let's get one more, and then we can go Lamar Brock. Bang. All right, now we're just running back wide receiver the rest of the way, folks. That worked out perfect, man. Could not have worked out better. That was great. And I think we'll try and go, we'll try and balance it out. We might go running back, wide receiver, then running back, wide receiver again. Guys we haven't drafted yet that I'm comfortable drafting. I guess it doesn't matter if we haven't drafted them yet, but we haven't took Josh Jacobs anywhere. I'd like to get Josh Jacobs on a team. I'd like to get Kareem Hunt on a team if we can get him somewhere. Both of those guys feel like they have good matchups. For the wide receivers, guys that we haven't drafted yet that we probably need to get a hold of, I like Davante Adams this week. And I also wouldn't mind grabbing a guy like Zay Flowers, especially considering we have Lamar. There goes Hurts. We'll go Jacobs and we'll go Adams. And then we'll go right back at it. Same type of idea. If Achan's still there on the next one, we'll definitely take him. It doesn't matter because he just got selected. I like Javante's matchup this week too. I like Swift's matchup this week. We haven't drafted any of them, so I'd be comfortable doing that. And even James Cook, I'd be comfortable drafting James Cook. So all of those are options for us at the wide receiver position. Guys that we haven't drafted yet. I don't want to grab Garrett Wilson. I like the matchup, obviously. But I'd also take a Jalen Waddle if we can get him, a Tank Dell. Those would make the most sense to me for this week. Froggy, should I start Jaden Reed or Waddle? I like Jaden Reed more this week. I like both of them. They're actually both starts of the week for me, but Jaden Reed I have higher in my rankings. All right, it looks like we're going to get our choice here. We'll go Kareem Hunt, and then I'm going to go – I wanted to go Zay just because we have the Lamar stack, but we wanted to draft some Waddle. We don't have any Waddle yet. We'll go Jalen Waddle. So Lamar, Josh Jacobs, Kareem Hunt, Davante Adams, Jalen Waddle, and Brock Bowers. That'll be our final team here. Now, as we do every week, at the end of this draft, we'll look at our weekly exposure. I think I already know just off the top of my head. I think we got Brees on 2 teams. We got Stephon Diggs on 2 teams. And so we'll talk about who we're rooting for this week to hopefully win some cash, hopefully try and take down this Battle Royale, and then we'll get on out of here. So this is the final call for your final questions. If you have any other questions, start sits, trades, waivers, anything you got fantasy football related, maybe even just anything, ask me anything. Final call right here, probably about 5 more minutes left in this stream. I also won't lie. I think that questionable tag for Zay, even though I think he's going to play, that questionable tag, it makes it a little sketchy to draft him in a lineup league like that, or in a best ball format like this, a tournament. Kyle says pick 2 for PPR: JT, Monty, Bigsby, and Dowdle. I'd go JT and Monty. All right, let's look at this battle exposure for Week 8 Battle Royale. Pull it up. 4 teams, as always. We got 4 quarterbacks, 7 running backs, 6 wide receivers, and 4 tight ends. At the quarterback position, Jordan Love, Caleb Williams, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Like that. At the running back position, we got Brees on 2 squads. You got Achane, Kareem Hunt, J.K. Dobbins, Josh Jacobs, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Saquon Barkley. In wide receiver, Stephon Diggs, Jaden Reed, DJ Moore, Drake London, Devontae Adams, and Jalen Waddle. We got Jaden Reed and Stephon Diggs on 2 teams each, so rooting for them. And then tight end, Tucker Kraft, Evan Engram, Trey McBride, and Brock Bowers. So, Brees Hall, Diggs, Jaden Reed. We need big days from these 3 if we want the max possibility of cashing in any of these leagues. And I said final call on the questions. It looks like we got a couple coming in at the last second, so we will answer these before we get out of here. Pear, I'm going to save yours just for the last one because I do think that's a fun topic to talk about before we get out of here. Tank Dell or Devonta Smith, PPR. I would go with Devonta Smith, but I still like Tank Dell's matchup this week. And then final question here. Para says, please say Max is going to beat Topira today and mean it. So I can't do that for you because I love that this is a matchup. I think Ilya is probably one of the best boxers in the UFC. I love Max, man. Don't get me twisted. I love Max. I think Max Holloway is a legend. I think Ilya wins today, man. I'm sorry to say that. I think he wins. And then 309, John Jones, baby. We got to watch John Jones. So UFC is it's a hidden thing. I don't think a lot of people know that I really like the UFC, but I like the UFC, man. And unfortunately for you, I cannot say that Max is going to win. It's going to be a damn good fight, though. I'm super excited. But that's it, folks. If you haven't already, hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And make sure you go join the Discord. The Discord is linked in the description. If you want to play on Underdog in the future, you want to take some Battle Royales down, you want a chance at winning $50,000 by drafting some fantasy football teams, use code League FFB over on Underdog Fantasy when you sign up. They'll give you up to $1,000 in bonus cash. The link is going to be in the description for you to join. Can't miss it. There's going to be like red sirens right around it. Sign up using code League FFB over on Underdog. Now, all of that being said, I have nothing else for you guys today, so I will see you on the next one. Para, sorry, it's probably going to be Ilya. Until then, though, peace out.